Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. Nice to have you with us today. We begin our journey today on health and healing by looking at a study from Queen Mary University, which is in the United Kingdom. 1 glass of beetroot, it's actually just beets, a day is enough to significantly reduce blood pressure, especially in patients with high blood pressure. That's the conclusion reached by the scientists who conducted a placebo-controlled trial in dozens of patients. And that's very important. This was part of the British Heart Foundation, a series of researchers. So let me repeat this. If you just have a glass of beet juice, don't put salt in it, because a lot of the commercial beet juices have salt, like tomato juice has a lot of salt. I saw one tomato juice that had 700 milligrams. Well, if your daily requirement is 800 milligrams, you don't want to have almost your daily requirement of sodium in 1 glass of juice. Now, making it yourself is best. If you got celery and you put some celery and lemon together, great way of lowering your blood pressure. You could also take a little bit of a seed. It comes in a capsule. It's celery seed. And these are the seeds that they grow celery from. And you take one of those capsules, that reduces your blood pressure also. Pomegranate is another great way of reducing your blood pressure. 1 glass of pomegranate juice per day, that's also good for you. So we have a nation of high blood pressure people, about 90 million more or less. Some of those people are on medications. And let me just share a little anecdotal story. True story, just happened 2 days ago. I have someone I know, a professional friend for probably 43 years. And this person has very high blood pressure and didn't know what to do, and came to me and say, Gary, here's my medical record. What do you think? So I'm looking at it, and I see that this person has high blood pressure and is on not 1, not 2, but 3 different medications, and still the blood pressure is high. But I'm thinking, this is not good. And so I said, are you aware right here that you have acute renal failure? What do you mean? I said, didn't your doctor go over this? It's right here. No, the doctor didn't go over that. Didn't mention that? No. So I said, here's what everyone should do. And this is a message for all of you. Anytime you're on any medication, go to the physician's desk reference and look up that particular medication. And then see what are the side effects, and look at the side effects in descending order, because generally the top side effects are the ones that you're most likely to experience. And lo and behold, 2 of the 3 medications for high blood pressure caused, you guessed it, acute renal failure. Meaning both kidneys are going to close down. That will kill the person. So I asked, I will talk with your doctor as your patient advocate. Got the doctor on the phone. And here's what she said. I've been trying to reach my doctor because of how I feel for the last 6 days. And they don't return the call. Every time I call, he's busy with a patient. Did you say to them that you're in an emergency? Yes. So finally, I said, get me to the receptionist then. Got the receptionist. I said, could I speak with the office manager, please? Got me the office manager. I said, I'm speaking on behalf of one of the doctor's patients. And this person, I'm reading her medical records, and she is in acute physical distress. She's in acute pain, and her blood pressure is off the wall, and I need to speak with the doctor immediately. Well, suddenly he gets on the line. Who are you? Very abrupt. I said, I'm a nobody. I'm just a person who has a professional friend who you have refused to return a call to. And I'm just wanting to know why you gave her these 3 medications, but you never spoke to her about being on a low sodium diet. You never talked to her about her walking or exercising or stress management. None of these were discussed. And he didn't like that. And I said, and when I looked up in the physician's desk reference, 2 of your medications for high blood pressure cause kidney failure, acute kidney failure. And now she has acute kidney failure, which she never had before. And well, I thought I taught, no. And the person was there on the phone and says, no, you never spoke about lifestyle changes or anything. You just kept giving me more medications. So I said, so here's where we're at. What you have given her has a high probability of causing her one of these life-ending conditions. I would suggest that you get her on different medications that are not going to adversely impact her kidneys. The doctor did that. And then I advocated for her to look at one of the best ways of lowering blood pressure, which is acupuncture, by a real acupuncturist, meaning not just a chiropractor, someone who's taken classes and got certified, but a traditional Chinese medicine medical doctor. And that's what this person did. And within 3 hours, after a simple session of blood pressure, the blood pressure came right down. Now, that was about 2 days ago, and it stayed down. And now the person is educating themselves on exercise, diet, nutrients that will bring down blood pressure, understanding the sodium potassium pump. Now, mind you, this is a highly educated person that I'm talking about. Didn't know, trusted the doctor. And how often have we trusted a doctor when we should have offered a legitimate and civil challenge? Prove to me you're doing no harm with the therapeutic model you're giving me. And indeed, that model might save my life and benefit me. But I just want to know you've done your homework. Never assume that what the doctor says in and of itself should go unchallenged. Because remember, every year we have what is called iatrogenesis, meaning medically induced injury or death. And there was a Harvard professor who wrote a study years ago that claimed that upwards of 1 million, I repeat, 1 million people die each year in the United States from medical errors. And the AMA now says it's the third leading cause. So I got a group of scientists, research scientists, and physicians, and it took us almost 5 years of research. We each had different areas. Every aspect of medicine, cardiology, endocrinology, gastroenterology, bariatrics, all of these different specialties, we looked at their peer-reviewed literature using only their information. And that's what we found, that all these mistakes were being made. And it was number 1. It was number 3. And that's where we're at today. So do your homework, all right? You don't want to be an iatrogenic case history. This study comes from the universities of Cape Town, Oslo, Oxford University, and it's a very important one. Why? Because it talks about simple things we can do to slow our brain's aging. The omega-3 fatty acids with the B complex. I suggested 25 milligram B complex. And while research has already established that B vitamin supplements can help slow mental decline, especially as you get older, especially with memory problems, an international team have now found that having higher levels of the omega-3 fatty acids in your body could boost the B vitamins effect. So take them together, the omega-3 fatty acids and a 25 milligram B complex tablet. All right, and mind you, you're looking at something that's easy to do. After all, we have a nation where millions, tens of millions of people, senior citizens, are now facing the long decline into dementia, and that's not good. All right. And by the way, one of the side effects of long COVID is dementia. So prematurely aging the brain. And that's with people in their 20s and 30s. That's how serious that condition is. Also, I'm very much against a high sodium and a high fat diet and a high protein diet. They're all unhealthy. Penn State College of Medicine has found why a high fat diet could reduce the brain's ability to regulate food intake. I'll explain it this way. Regularly eating a high fat calorie diet, that's the average American diet, could reduce the brain's ability to regulate how calories are used in the body. This was published in the Journal of Physiology, and it found that after short periods of being fed a high-fat, high-calorie diet, the brain adapts to react to what is being ingested and reduces the amount of food eaten to balance caloric intake. This is from Penn State College of Medicine, and it suggests that calorie intake is regulated in the short term by cells called astrocytes, which are large star-shaped cells in the brain that regulate many different functions of neurons in the brain, and that controls the signaling pathway between the brain and the gut. Continuously eating a high-fat, high-calorie diet seems to disrupt this signaling pathway. Understanding the brain's role in complex mechanisms that led to overeating, a behavior that can lead to weight gain, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. And by the way, obesity is a global health concern because it's associated with increased risks of dying prematurely. In England, 63% of adults are obese. That's really unhealthy. But in America, we're even higher. So all the food that we eat, the kind of food we eat, the amount of food we eat, the combinations of food we eat, all of this adversely affects the neurons in our brain. So what do you do to reverse this? It's simple. Here's the solution. Eat a healthy, plant-based diet and make sure you're getting probiotics. So you're feeding not just the body, you're feeding all of the good microbiome, the bacteria in the gut. And that goes to the brain, signals the brain, and therefore even allows you to feel more comfortable eating less food. Now, if anyone's ever eaten dinner with me, and I have a lot of people because I used to do cover dish dinners. Remember that? Remember he says, remember we had so many people who wanted to come to dinner that the restaurant out on Long Island said, we're inundated. We have over 1,500 reservations to be with you tonight at dinner. So we're just taking over the whole parking lot. So, and I thought it was really nice of them because I knew they went to extra expense to rent all the tables and chairs. And it was interesting because People magazine came with me and did a photo shoot, and it was in there. And you see all these wonderful people from my audience, families, and a lot of singles too. That's when we were all very young and really interested in socializing, and cover dish dinners were the way to go. And I'm sure many of you attended those, because I would go on for the next 10 years and choose the largest restaurants in New York that had a healthy menu or would give a healthy menu for that night. In fact, Odysee's on 72nd Street was a large restaurant, held somewhere around 160 people. We'd have the early dinner, which would be at 4 o'clock, and that would be 4 to 5. And almost all senior citizens came to that one. And then we'd do 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and the last one was 9 to 10. So all told, somewhere around 800 people could have dinner. And we did that once a month for years. And a lot of people socialized with each other. It was just wonderful times. So what we want to do is we want to go towards a healthy-based diet. And if you ever saw me eat, I eat very small amounts. I never have a big plate of food. For example, for lunch, I might make myself some seaweed. I might make it hot or cold after it's, I rinse it, by the way, I rinse my seaweed 3 times. Then I boil it for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then I can either put it in the refrigerator, run cold water over it, and then I might dice up some radishes and put some radish sprouts in there, and onion sprouts, garlic sprouts, daikon sprouts. And now I have a cold salad, and I use that as a seaweed salad. I make my own dressings for it. Or I might eat it hot. I might add some tofu I might shave some parsnips, which gives it a sweet, tart flavor. It excites the mouth because it's not just one taste. But then I got the seaweed. I have some root vegetables, maybe some squash. And then I have, which I steam. And then I have a grain, quinoa, brown rice. And then I'll have my beans and whatever I'm in the mood for. But that's a whole meal. And yet it would be equivalent to about a bowl and a half of food. And so that provides me with lots of fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients, quality amino acids, my proteins. Because people are always asking, where are you getting your protein? Well, in the morning, I have a protein smoothie, and that provides me with about 4 hours of good quality amino acids, but I repeat that twice in a day. So you don't have to be eating all the time. You don't have to be eating big meals all the time. And we've gotten this habit of, going to restaurants that give us the big meals, really fill us up. You don't want to be filled up. You want to be able to get up from a table and still be hungry. That's the ideal way of eating. And then go for a walk afterwards. I always, in the morning, I do the gym, and then I have my breakfast, and then I take the dogs for a walk. And I have a big field out here. I got about 15 acres. They run around and run and play, and I'm jogging along with them the whole time. And then I say, let's go back. And they jump into this little cart. They're cute, two little Dachshunds. And they know when it's time to go back. And I take them out 3 times a day. In the evening for a long time. They're out for at least an hour. It's great joy just being around completely loving creatures. But also because I do it after I eat, it maintains the blood sugar more evenly. So if you have diabetes or pre-diabetic, or if you're completely healthy, always go for a walk after a meal. Let me repeat that. It's important that you get the blood sugar moving, get your glycogen, your stored glucose, moving into your metabolism, because otherwise, if you have anything that has a glycemic factor, meaning the amount of glucose in it, it's going to spike your blood sugar. And you don't want that. That's damaging the cells. You want your blood sugar maintained at an even level. So go for a walk, go for a bike ride, but get your metabolism moving, get your muscles moving, and you'll stay a lot healthier, a lot longer, and you'll stay at a normal weight. So, University of California has a study. More steps, 10,000 minimum, moderate physical activity can cut dementia and cognitive impairment. Now, this was specifically for senior women. They're less likely to develop mild cognitive impairment or dementia if they do more daily walking and moderate to vigorous physical activity. That's according to the Herbert Wertheim School of Public Health and Human Longevity Science at the University of California, San Diego. This is published in Alzheimer's and Dementia. And by the way, just so you know, the results are in from the important study I did 6 months ago with a group of individuals on campus, and then following them for 2.5 months at home. And blood workups, 2 different types of blood workups, all these physical activities before and after, journaling and lectures. On campus, 6 lectures, up to 6 lectures a day, plus workshops on meditation and mindfulness and yoga, gym workouts, juicing, supplementation, vegan diet. And I'm waiting for the final description of the results, but I did have a phone call with 7 individuals, including group leaders, people who oversaw different aspects of the study. It was completely supervised. And I'll simply say at this moment that we established a breakthrough in science history. In fact, one of the individuals on that call, who is the head of one of the most significant and respected anti-aging foundations in the world, after I asked the person in California, do your results show that we actually reverse the aging process? Hence, adding years onto a person's life. And they said, yes. This other person said, wow, then this is one of the most historic studies ever done. So now all the different analysis are being done. And I'm waiting for that to come in any day now. Once that is approved, once it's submitted for peer review publication, I will then go into greater depth. But I will tell you this, based upon the outcome of 5 consecutive studies over 3 years and the same positive results all 5 times, but now with a second blood chemistry on a methylating DNA test that showed what we actually were doing, I'm going to do a study where many people around the world, remember, we're a worldwide program, can do the next study from home. And that's all I'll say at this time. But I think the next study is going to be a big study based upon the results we have here and how I'm hopeful that this will impact the anti-aging community. So, in any case, get your exercise in every day, all right? Because all this can slow down the decline in brain aging and help prevent dementia. And that's from Dr. LaCroix, the MD, PhD at the university. Quote, physical activity has been identified as one of the 3 most promising ways to reduce the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Prevention is important because once dementia is diagnosed, it's very difficult to slow reverse. Not true. There is no cure. Not true. Not true. And I'll be able to bring shortly on the program 2 individuals with end-stage dementia and Alzheimer's, and then hear what they have to say and their spouses. All it takes is for one case to be objectively proven that you prove your case. It's just that I read the science all day long, every day, and I just don't see anybody looking at to make some interdisciplinary, meaning multiple disciplines all brought together. They're doing one discipline at a time. By the way, for the men in the audience, Harvard School of Public Health just brought out a study that melatonin may lower prostate cancer risk. High levels of melatonin, that's the hormone involved in your sleep-wake cycle, may decrease the risk of developing advanced prostatic cancer. And this was from the Prostate Cancer Foundation conference. And let's keep in mind, sleep loss and other factors can influence the amount of melatonin secretion or block it altogether. Music blocks it. Light blocks it. Having a higher metabolism because you ate too late at night instead of stopping 3 to 4 hours before going to sleep blocks it. And electromagnetic pulses, cell phones, tablets block it because they disrupt the circadian rhythm, and that is dangerous. That is a risk factor for cancer. Because some people ask, well, what does me not having enough, enough melatonin have to do with cancer? I just gave it to you. And finally, from the University of Massachusetts, yoga shows a variety of benefits to both the body and mind from the ancient practice. And that's good because the popularity of yoga has grown tremendously in the past decade. More than 10% of the U.S. population have practiced yoga at some point in their lives. Yoga practitioners spend an average of $90 a month, which is not much, and the yoga industry is worth about $80 billion worldwide. Other countries, such as in India, yoga is just a normal part of their culture and their life and their history. Not so in the United States, but I'm glad to see that more and more people are turning to yoga as a way of keeping healthy and relaxing their mind and becoming more meditative. So if you do yoga and then meditation, you're getting the best of both. But the science is there. It's a hugely important way of keeping your body relaxed, keeping your body in a stress management way. That's the latest on health and healing. And remember, you can go to Rumble And you can go to Odysee, and you can go to PRN.Live, and you can go to YouTube, the Gary Null YouTube, and then you'll be able to see all the films and all the other work that I'm doing right now. I'm doing a lot. And by the way, just finished principal photography on my newest documentary, and that should be ready in post-production in probably the next 3 weeks. Once Val has given it to me, says it's ready to go, then I'll set a time to premiere it as a fundraiser for our sister station, WBI in New York, and I'll also premiere it out to the Huntington Arts Cinema and up in Woodstock. So I'll be coming back to New York for a week to 2, and I'll also be doing a lecture at the same time, the same venue. I'm also hoping to do a dance party when I come back, so I'll be looking at that venue as well. So all that's coming at you, and I'm working on 3 new books. I bought back the rights of 3 of my bestsellers, and from scratch, I'm bringing them all up to date, and I'm bringing them up to date only using material from the National Library of Medicine. So all the professionals, all of the medical doctors, dentists, nutritionists, dietitians, wellness counselors, nurses, who want to use something that's science-based in helping a person, but natural, that's what's in the new books. I'm bringing back, the first one will be The Complete Encyclopedia of Natural Healing. It's almost 40% larger. Yeah. Every day, every night, more material going into it. I mean, really good stuff. I've added 22 new chapters, so including one on aging. And I'm putting the latest information from the latest study into there, so you'll know the protocols you can do at home if you choose to. So got a lot coming, and go to PRN.Live each day to see what's up there, not just for myself, but from all the wonderful hosts that we have. Take a break. Come right back at you. We have a lot more to share.
If you would like to stay updated and see more content, you can follow PRN on Twitter at live.prn and YouTube at Progressive Radio Network. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again for listening to PRN, the home of progressive voices.